Little Hands, Big Attitude, Book 5, The Thief and the Sleeper, Chapter 10, Meet and Greet with Snow and Stone.
Shadow? Shadow.
Shadow's ears twitched at the voice hissing in his ear, and he gave a groan, trying to turn away from it.
Not now.
Shadow, we have to get off the train now, before the humans see us.
Shadow's eyes opened and he groaned again, rubbing them with his hands. That sleep was definitely not enough.
All right, give me a second.
The consistent vibration and rumbling of the train on tracks was slowing, the soft creaks and screeches of metal brakes on metal rails reaching his ears as he yawned and felt through the darkness for his walking stick.
Rouge.
I got it here.
Shadow felt the stick be pressed into his palms, and he gripped it tightly as he used it to shove himself up onto his feet. Rest had done nothing to dull the pain, instead adding a stiffness to his bum leg as he limped towards the door. Even from inside the massive container, Shadow could feel the chill from outside. The temperature had dropped somewhere along the way, and as Rouge was able to pull the door away and reveal the outside, Shadow's eyes were blinded by the sudden change from dark to white.
Oh great, Snow.
Shadow's eyes took a moment to adjust, and then when he looked back, he found them passing through a world covered in a white powder. It dusted the trees, rocks, and grass in a blanket, glistening under the morning sunlight.
What?
Snow. Frozen water.
Isn't that ice?
Yeah, but that's different.
Shadow was quite confused, but he didn't try to get more information on the substance before him, other than a very important question.
How hurt are we going to get jumping into it?
Not much. Come on. The train's gonna hit civilization soon, so we gotta go now.
Shadow swallowed, looking out into the land moving past them.
Okay, ladies first.
Oh sure, hold on, scaredy hog.
Hey, wait. Rua.
The bat had clotheslined him and knocked him from the train car with one quick motion, and they free fell for only a moment before landing in the white powder. To his relief, this snow was not as hard as he'd expected, instead collapsing underneath them just enough to cushion the fall. It was cold, however, and Shadow quickly sat up and shook his quills clear of it.
What were you trying to do, Rouge?
It worked, didn't it?
Rouge popped up from the snow, her fur almost blending in with it as she too shook it from her fur and then tugged her hood on over her ears.
Come on, Shadow.
Shadow rolled his eyes.
I hope you've got yourself a plan.
What do you see, Shadow?
Shadow looked around the area, trying to focus on the details. The train tracks off to the side were cleared of snow, but everything was covered in a sheet of white. But there was a haze over all of it as well, a green haze. Was this it? Was this the elusive green hills he'd been told about? No, they weren't quite there yet, because he saw that further into the woods, the haze grew more intense in its concentration, and then rose up towards the heavens, where he could make out sheer cliffs that had spilled over like milk off the end of the table. Don't ask him why that was the analogy his brain came up with. Whatever they were headed for, it was close, but not yet in their grasp. He pointed into the trees.
That way. It's spilling out from above those peaks.
Rouge looked up at the cliff faces ahead of them, and sighed.
That's a long climb for you, Quill Pickle. And a long flight for me if I try to carry you.
Shadow sighed, brows furrowing.
I know, but something's up there. Calling for me. You got any other ideas?
Excuse me.
The two whipped around, and their eyes widened as they saw a human man standing a few yards from them, hands folded behind his back.
I might be of some assistance.
Who are you?
Rouge crouched down beside him.
Trouble, no doubt.
Now, don't be like that.
The man offered a gloved hand out towards them.
I'm looking for something and I have a feeling you might be able to help.
Shadow tilted his head.
What are you looking for exactly?
A project that was under the guidance of my employer's grandfather, Project Shadow. I was asked to make sure it made it to safety.
Shadow's ears pricked, and he looked to Rouge. She was glaring at the man, slowly making her way behind him. She didn't seem to trust him, but he wasn't running away, or screaming, or trying to hurt them.
He might be able to help us get over the cliffs.
I don't like it. He seems too chummy.
Didn't you try the same thing when we first got started? And you turned out to be okay.
That's different.
Rouge crouched closer to him, her eyes never leaving the man.
Promise you won't hurt him?
Him?
Shadow gripped his walking stick, and grunted as he pulled himself up onto his feet.
I am Project Shadow. Or So they all tell me.
The man's expression changed just a hint, but Shadow wasn't quite sure what it meant. The smile never waned, however, and he offered a hand.
A pleasure to meet you, Project Shadow. I am Stone.
It's just Shadow.
Shadow took a step forward.
Your employer's grandfather was the head of the project?
Indeed?
So you might be able to tell me where I came from then. I've lost a lot of memory of that time, you see. Anything you could provide would be appreciated. It's hard not knowing who I am, or what I'm supposed to do.
Stone bent down a little lower and closer to Shadow's level.
Well, don't worry, I'm sure we can help you find your purpose.
How did you find us?
Quite simple, really. Shadow here has been giving off a rather traceable energy signal as you've traveled. I've no doubt that the government agents will be here soon following the same trail, so we need to move out quickly.
Shadow nodded, taking Rouge's hand.
Where I go, she comes with me.
Shadow.
I promised not to leave you.
The bat grumbled, and he gave a light smile as he felt her grip tighten on his hand just a bit.
Do I get to hit you if I'm right about this?
Sure.
Fine. So long as we can get out of this cold misery?
It was your idea to jump out of the train.
Shadow mumbled, and then looked back to the man.
All right, Mr. Stone, lead the way.
Excellent.
This wasn't what Agent Stone had expected. He was praising himself a bit for having made the right call. The one train that was heading out from the yard without consequence had been the one to house Project Shadow and its escape. Following it had been the tricky part, but no lack of Robotnik's drones had prevailed to yield success. The energy practically bleeding from the missing project had left a trail easy to follow, and he had arrived just in time to collect it as it jumped ship in the woods, but what he found was not what he'd anticipated. To be fair, the notes on Project Shadow's appearance and physical description had been few and far between, mostly on its power and capabilities. What a list that was, too! But when he'd crossed over the ridge, the last thing he'd expected, or even hoped, to see were more fluffy aliens. Not to mention, so close to Green Hills. It was fortune that they hadn't walked right into those ridiculous Wachowskis' backyard and been accepted in their fold on sight. Another hedgehog, black as night with streaks of blood red breaking it apart, accompanied by a girl bat, the first of both of those he'd seen. They must have had the project in hand, and then the hedgehog announced that he was Project Shadow? But the scans confirmed it. This hedgehog was the source of the immense power surges and bleeding trail, and Agent Stone needed to secure him. Quickly. He seemed quite trusting of Stone, but if what he had told Stone was true, he might very well be desperate. His memory was mixed up, no doubt a result of something done to him by the government prior to his sealing in stasis for 50 years, and he sounded like he was anxious to try and get some of those memories back. Perfect. Stone could feed him just about anything and it would serve to turn him to their side. The bat, however. She was going to be a problem. The plan was far simpler when Stone hadn't known that his quarry was alive and able to make friends. He could have taken the two of them out and then been on his way, but now, he needed to keep Shadow to his side, which unfortunately meant bringing the bat along. A bat who didn't trust Stone one bit, but Shadow trusted her. From what the man could gather, it was Rouge that had been the one to steal Shadow away from the laboratory, under the request of some thieves' guild that apparently had decided to make it a suicide mission and abandon her in her absence. So now, Rouge was traveling with Shadow, the two of them having been trying to follow some trail only Shadow could see. Interesting, but still a problem. He needed Shadow for his plan, but not Rouge. How could he have one and not the other? He'd need to get them apart. He also noticed that Shadow was limping, an injury from falling off of the train a short time ago. He would need to look into that later. For now, he needed to get them where they were safe and secure. Solving the new friend problem could come later.